It really was somewhat coincidental, but a major editor in my work on the Bible is a professor of Bible at Bar-Ilan University in Israel, and he's fluent in English, and his biblical Hebrew is mind-boggling. It's a credit to me. I don't normally say such a thing. It is a credit to me because it's humbling to have him look over my work, because his knowledge is like it's intimidatingly awesome. And so it happens to be that he has a speech in South Florida, correct? And so is going to drive 3.5 hours from Orlando there, and decided to come here, and I'm very touched. So Professor Leeor Gottlieb, welcome to Orlando. By the way, he's even taller than me. I'm 6'4". What are you, 6'5"?
6'5", that's
yes,
right.
That's right. But it was a big part of the choice. I could have had any Bible scholar in the world, but I wanted one taller than me. I thought that was important. Professor Gotlieb, how did we even meet each other?
Well, first of all, hello, Dennis. And before I say anything, I want to congratulate you for this great achievement of putting out another volume.
Thank you.
Of the Rational Bible.
You've been a big help. I need everybody to know that.
We met because you take groups on a tour to Israel through Salem Radio, and when I saw an advertisement about a tour of yours that you're bringing to Israel, I thought, and I knew that you were working on the first volume of the Rational Bible at the time, I thought it would be the most important thing I can do for my students to bring somebody who is not a professor, not a rabbi, who takes the Bible seriously. I thought that would be a lesson for them. And I reached out to you and asked you if you would be willing to give a lecture at Bar-Ilan University about your work on the Bible, because I wanted my students to see somebody from outside that world who was willing to put so much effort and time into this important book.
How did they react? Tell the truth. I don't know the answer.
It was an event on campus that they talked about even a year later.
Like, why on God's earth did he bring that guy?
No, the auditorium was packed. The responses were excellent.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Tell everybody, not everybody knows about the universities of Israel, obviously. There would be no reason they would. What is Bar-Ilan?
Bar-Ilan University is, it's a university that tries to do exactly what you described on the show earlier, taking religion seriously and taking science seriously, realizing that there's no necessary contradiction between the two, and that each facet of those two terms add wealth to the individual, to society, to the world. So Bar-Ilan is a university that defines itself as a Jewish university, which is really unique. There is no, there's no such term before the 20th century. It's not the only one in the world today, but the idea that there's a university that is Jewish, that takes science and religion and works on both seriously together, that's one of the products of...
Now, you told me it's the largest Bible department. Is it in Israel or in the world?
As far as I know, it's the largest. It has the largest faculty of scholars, of Old Testament scholars, of Hebrew Bible scholars in the world.
Wow.
As far as I know.
So what did you do your doctorate in, and where did you do it?
I wrote my dissertation on the Aramaic translation of the Book of Chronicles at Hebrew University. Now, just what I said now illustrates so perfectly why what you're doing is so important. Because...
I understand. You go, but explain it. Go ahead, because...
Okay, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands here in the audience. But in an average audience, if I were to ask how many people read the Book of Chronicles in any language, it wouldn't be the majority. And then I say, but I studied the Aramaic translation of the Book of Chronicles.
Right.
Scholarship has, like, we deal with details that don't necessarily make it to to the general public. And that's why the Rational Bible is so important.
But it's also why your scholarship is so important, because I use your scholarship to then make it known to the public. We'll be back in a moment. You know, I was telling the audience during the break here, there are 500 folks. Give them a cheer, everybody, so they'll know you're really 500 folks. This is the real deal. And they came from, obviously, mostly the Orlando and Sarasota and Tampa areas, but a lot from other states as well, you know, because of the publication of the next volume of my Rational Bible. But I was saying how the 3 hours really flew today, and which is always a good sign for my show, obviously. And I think you're a big part of it, the audience. I had fun with you. I just want you to know that. Because it's very rare that I do a show in public. It really is. And among those who are here, by sheer coincidence, because he's spending, it's a sabbatical sort of in Cleveland, is that correct? And he's Israeli. By the way, so Professor Leeor Gottlieb is a major editor of my work. And his knowledge is just, we use the word too often, but I would say awesome is not exaggerated. Why do you know English? Not only do you know English so well, but you speak with an American accent. But of course, you're Israeli. So how did that happen?
I spent 9 years of my childhood in Binghamton, New York. I am the son of Professor Moshe Gotlieb of blessed memory, who was an American. And when he taught at Binghamton University, then called SUNY, I had the privilege of learning English and keeping it up.
Because listening to him, right, there is no sense, you would have no idea. I mean, and it is perfect. If you could read a novel, and I use novel specifically because it's a much richer vocabulary than a newspaper. If you could read a novel in Hebrew or English, would you toss a coin or would you prefer Hebrew?
My clear answer is I will strive to read any work in its original language.
Right, that's what I assumed.
No matter what language it is, and if I can't, then I know that I'm compromising.
Wow. But it's not a struggle, obviously, reading anything in English.
No, not at
all.
No.
Did you learn any? Well, you learned Aramaic?
Yes. But I haven't read many Aramaic novels.
And on that note, would you give Professor Gotlieb a hand and a big thank you from me? He's a wonderful human being and a brilliant man. It's a joy. It's a joy that you came here, and I appreciate it. Now you have a 3.5-hour drive, but some of you